Welcome to this special edition of BizTalk, co-produced with Daryo, Uzbekistan Media and News Company. I'm Zheng Junfeng in Beijing, joined by my partner Tony Kruger in Tashkent, Uzbekistan. Together, we will guide you through today's discussions. This year's 7th China International Import Expo, or CIIE, serves as a crucial global trade platform featuring nearly 3,500 exhibitors from around 130 countries and regions. This event presents significant opportunities within the world's second-largest economy, helping foreign businesses deepen their presence in the Chinese market. Additionally, we are marking the start of the second decade of China's Belt and Road Initiative, first announced in 2013. These initiatives demonstrate China's commitment to high standard opening up, providing much-needed opportunities for global businesses while fostering win-win outcomes. To delve into these topics, let's welcome our distinguished guests. Tony, would you like to start?
It's a pleasure to be here from Central Asia's most populous state. We are Daryo News, and joining us today in the studio, we have quite a distinguished panel of experts to talk about the CIIE and its impact on China and Uzbekistan trade. Now, let me quickly introduce our panelists who are joining us. First joining us is Aziz Ibrahimov, the Deputy Head of Investment and Foreign Trade from the Jizakh Regional Administration. Next, we have Oleg Abdurashitov. He's a policy and public affairs consultant with over 15 years of international experience, and he is now focused specifically on Central Asia and the Caucasus with his publication Outpost Eurasia. We also have, finally, we have Dr. Iqbaljon Qasimov, the Head of Research and Grants Department at the Graduate School of Business and Entrepreneurship under the Cabinet of Ministers of Uzbekistan.
Thank you, Tony, for that introduction of your fantastic guests. And joining us online in our Beijing studio are His Excellency Mr. Patah Kalandadze, Ambassador of Georgia, and Dr. Mabo Lu Miao, co-founder and Secretary General of the Center for China and Globalization, or CCG. Thank you for being here today. Now let's kickstart our conversation with Daryo.
Let's begin by discussing the expectations surrounding the CIIE 2024 and its significance in promoting bilateral trade between China and Uzbekistan. Dr. Iqbaljon Qasimov, in your capacity, you studied in China, you're also a businessman, and you deal quite frequently with China. What sectors do you see as having the greatest growth potential and other partnerships that could perhaps be formed through this expo?
This expo is going to provide great opportunities for our suppliers to meet and negotiate and talk with Chinese importers. I think there are huge opportunities for Uzbek exporters in China. Why? Because China offers a great market, which is a massive market actually in the world, with huge potential for growth. And especially when Uzbek exporters are looking for large markets, I think China would offer the best scenario for our manufacturers. Right now, Uzbekistan's trade with China is actually, China is actually Uzbekistan's main trading partner in terms of imports and exports as well. So they kind of change places with Russia as being the top trading partners every year. But in terms of imports, China is the biggest trading partner for Uzbekistan.
Thank you, Qasimov, for your valuable insights. It's clear that the CIIE is an important moment for Uzbek exporters, especially in the agricultural sector, as they seek to tap into Chinese vast market potential. Now to you, Ambassador Kalandadze. As Georgia continues its participation in CIIE, what have been the key motivations behind your involvement this year, and what specific outcomes do you hope to achieve?
Firstly, thank you very much for having me on the show. I highly appreciate it. And let me once more time welcome your viewers and the guests participating in this particular program. Well, we always attained a great attention and hope to these events since from the very beginning, since from the date it was founded. And Georgia always traditionally used to be a very active participant. Exception is not this year as well, because I think this year we are presenting the record-breaking amount of Georgian companies, which is over 45. Will be placed in 3 different locations of the space. And this is a great opportunity because itself the Shanghai International Import-Export is a wonderful platform for B2B activities. And it is extremely important for such a small country as Georgia to present its capabilities and the potence. Besides, getting closer to the existing one of the biggest markets as itself, People's Republic of China. We're presenting whatever we got new and progressive, and at the same time, besides the establishing direct communication, we are making the contacts which enlarge the capability of our business to become even more popular.
And Dr. Miao, CCG has been attending the CIIE for the 7th year consecutive year now. And what progress have you observed over the past 7 years?
For example, from my observation, firstly, the number of participating countries and international organizations has increased a lot. More and more countries, international organizations are joining the CIIE, including some first-time participants, such as Norway and other countries, I remember. Secondly, the exhibition space has expanded year by year. Thirdly, the CIIE has adjusted its exhibition area and the formats to align with the new developments in global industries.
Now let's turn our attention to the trade dynamics between China and Uzbekistan. And Tony, what would you like to elaborate on that?
And now let's take a closer look at the current state of trade between China and Uzbekistan and explore how we can continue to build on these foundations. And Oleg, I think you would be the one to give us some insights into this.
China is now #1 trade partner in Uzbekistan, overtaking the previous leader in that category. To give you some numbers, the trade volume last year was about $14 billion. It's a double-digit growth compared to 2022. And the two leaders of the country, President Mirziyoyev and Chairman Xi Jinping, agreed that the aim for this year should be about $20 billion US. So it's almost doubling the current amount. In addition to the trade, there is a number of important direct foreign investments that China is making in Uzbekistan in the most critical sector, in the sector of infrastructure development. That includes massive investments in renewable energy, since Uzbekistan is turning towards the energy transition, where China's expertise and China's technologies are best in class. And of course, we're talking about the localization of Chinese production in Uzbekistan. I would like to specifically mention the success of Jizak region that is represented here, because BYD, one of the largest Chinese automotive producers, has established the plant in Jizak region this year. They started producing this year, and it is already the 3rd largest producer of automotive cars in the country.
Let's talk about economic ties between China and Uzbekistan. I mean, Uzbekistan is a very unique country in Central Asia, and I myself have been there, and Dr. Miao, you've been there too. You just got back from Uzbekistan. What's your observations in that country regarding the business opportunities and the two countries' economic ties?
I learned that the country has a population of over 37 million, and the average age of this country just 27. This year, Uzbekistan also participated as a guest country at the 7th CIIE, which further promotes economic integration between Central Asia and China, and advances regional economic cooperation to a new level. Actually, many countries surrounding China, like Uzbekistan, have promising prospects for cooperation with China. As a vital part of the Asian Silk Road, the Central Asia region shares not only geographic proximity with China, but also deep economic, cultural, and strategic ties.
Mr. Ambassador, what do you think Georgia's experience at CIIE in Shanghai will influence trade dynamics, not just trade dynamics, but also maybe investments dynamics, infrastructure cooperation opportunities, and other strategic cooperation between Georgia and China?
This platform, as I mentioned, is very important, but let's go to the core of philosophy of cooperation, bilateral cooperation between Georgia and China, which is which actually got quite a substantial impetus since last year, after the leaders of both countries made a joint statement about the elevation of the relationship between Georgia and China to the strategic partnership. And I'm very pleased to say that the results of this declaration, this new status of bilateral relations, they were translated immediately into the concrete steps, such as the agreement on visa-free regime between the two countries, also the signing of memorandum of understanding about so-called the middle corridor. In other words, we are in a very intensive, dynamic state of relations with China, because we totally share the philosophy of One Belt, One Road, which I have to admit we joined. We were amongst the first Eastern European countries who joined this philosophy and this project in 2014. And we're becoming fully pledged to this project. Definitely our trade is increasing, and I have some digits which are indicating that we're doing quite well. Let's say that the trade turnover of the last year between Georgia and China equals to $2 billion. At the same time, I have to mention the direct investments coming to Georgia from China. According to the data of the last year, it equals something to $100 million. And this is not the limit. This is just the beginning of the new era, let's say so, between the two sides, especially on the track of economical cooperation. Definitely, we're going to have better results in forthcoming year.
Are we visa-free for both countries' citizens now?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I can visit Georgia visa-free, and your people can visit China visa-free?
That's a beautiful reality we're facing today.
That's very good to know. Yeah. I wish I could visit someday. Let's shift our focus to the Belt and Road Initiative. As the Ambassador just mentioned, the Belt and Road Initiative played an important role in deepening policy communication among countries, promoting global connectivity, reshaping international trade patterns, and driving world economic growth. Now, Tony, let's hear from your guests for their insights on this.
And I think one of the most tangible aspects of this initiative is the ever-increasing presence of BYD cars, especially here in Tashkent. Now let's quickly dive in a little bit deeper. How do you assess the Belt and Road Initiative's impact on Uzbekistan's economy, and what future developments should we expect from this initiative?
For as a double landlocked country, Uzbekistan is at the big geographical disadvantage in terms of trade routes, and because the logistics, the cost of logistics is pretty high for Uzbekistan, for Uzbek suppliers and importers as well. Now, as probably all of us know, that China has made a big investment on the Chinese Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan corridor, which is a railroad. If this project is to be accomplished successfully, then it would probably give Uzbekistan a huge opportunity to export its products to many more other countries. So that's why the importance of BRI for Uzbekistan and other countries in Central Asia is enormous.
And Aziz, what impact have you seen the Belt and Road Initiative having on Uzbekistan?
From Chinese side, coming investors to Jizak city and Jizak region, and they are doing like exactly in real projects, as you told, like a BYD and Hawal, Cherry, and also one of the big projects, Sunny Company. Every week I will be there in this place, And I am seeing that real Chinese investors coming, interested into these places and investing.
Oleg, do you have any last remarks about the BRI?
China and BRI has offered more tangible benefits to Central Asia than any other partner. And I think this assessment very much stands and will probably stand in the future. Speaking about the potential areas for expanding the BRI cooperation, I would again highlight, as Dr. Kasimov mentioned, I would again highlight the connectivity project that includes the Middle Corridor, that includes the China-Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan railway, but it also includes a number of projects that are aimed at the connectivity within the country itself. It may be forgotten, but the famous Kamchik Tunnel, which is one of the longest of its, is actually the longest of its kind in the world, was part of the BRI project, was built in close cooperation with the Chinese railway experts, and has made a tremendous, has had tremendous impact on economic life and connectivity of the country itself. And I think further efforts in this area, paid roads, toll roads, expansion of the railways, would invite China's investment.
Thank you, gentlemen. Those are very insightful responses and remarks. And Dr. Miao, to you, this year marks the beginning of the second decade of Belt and Road Initiative. So what major achievements have you observed over the past decade, and what adjustments or strategies or key investment areas do you anticipate for the upcoming 10 years?
China has signed over 200 cooperation agreements with more than 150 countries and 30 international organizations, covering areas such as trade, investment, and finance, establishing the BRI as a global public good and international cooperation platform. I always communicate this with my counterparts around the world, that the BRI is a public good for the world. Over the past 10 years, many infrastructure projects, including the China-Laos Railway and the Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Railway, and a lot have been completed and put into operation, enhancing infrastructure connectivity around the world.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Miao. And to you, Ambassador Kalendadze, China and Georgia signed a strategic partnership agreement on the Belt and Road Initiative last year, as you mentioned. How do you view the significance for your country and the region? And what kind of infrastructure projects, potential infrastructure projects, do you perceive as potential cooperation area in the Belt and Road Initiative?
First of all, these projects gives an opportunity to Georgia even better to define our geopolitical value. In other words, the potence of Georgia as a corridor connecting east with the west and vice versa. Traditionally, historically, Georgia used to be a very essential part of so-called Silk Road. And I think that it gives us a beautiful opportunity to proclaim ourselves and to get back this important role, which will be so important for not only for the region, but for the whole world. Most of all, we have to refer our attention to the transportation infrastructure cooperation, in which respect we're very, very closely cooperating with China. Definitely at the beginning, I've mentioned about the signing of MOU on the Middle Corridor. So Middle Corridor is very essential part of the One Belt, One Road philosophy. So we are not alone in this part. Definitely, we're joined by our partners from Azerbaijan, from Kazakhstan, and of course, the leading engine in this cooperation is China itself. This cooperation is having huge perspectives, which are directly in line with the national interests of Georgia.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. Dr. Miao, we can see that many of the partners in the BRI initiative are those southern countries, developing countries. How can the BRI enhance South-South cooperation?
The BRI has strengthened the South-South cooperation, enhancing connectivity and joint development among developing countries. Regarding the technological cooperation, Gansu Agriculture University signed a memo with the university in Pakistan to collaborate on modern agriculture technology transfer and the talent training programs, reinforcing technological cooperation and knowledge sharing among developing countries. Thank you.
Thank you for that perspective on the Belt and Road Initiative. Now, as we consider the future of trade relations, Tony, would you like to take us into a discussion on the challenges that may rise in the trade relationship between China and Uzbekistan?
As trade partnerships between China and Uzbekistan continues to grow, what challenges do you see in maintaining and expanding this trade relationship, and how can both countries work to overcome them? Let's start with you, Dr. Kasimov.
There are over 2,500 companies operating, or Chinese companies operating in Uzbekistan as of 2024. And lots of Chinese investors, they have set up their own sourcing sites in Uzbekistan where they actually source products from Uzbek farmers to export to China. You know, this platform, which you have mentioned, that the Expo in China would provide a perfect platform for Uzbek businesses to find the right customers or the clients in China and work with them and solve the issues, the potential issues or the challenge that they might face while exporting Chinese market. And also lack of information is another challenge for Uzbek exporters as well. So I believe that you know, there are of course challenges, but these challenges can be coped with enough government support, or let's say the administrative support shown by the government, both sides.
And now, Oleg, on to you. Do you have anything to add about how we can navigate these challenges with trade?
I think there are, in addition to what's been mentioned already, the challenges would include things like the expansion of tariffs to Chinese imports among the Chinese main trade partners beyond Central Asia, and that in particular in the European Union, and a further imposition of tariffs on things like electric vehicles or photovoltaic technology or solar panels would obviously impact the potential of the trade development between Central Asia and China, and in some respect will affect its potential as the transit route. However, it may probably make Central Asia one of the main destinations of those imports.
Thank you for those insights into the challenges facing trade relations between China and Uzbekistan. Now let's shift our focus to investment trends in China. Now, Ambassador, we know that government-to-government relationship between Georgia and China have been improved a lot. What about the business community? What can be done to further improve communication and trading investment opportunities for the businesses?
Between Georgia and the People's Republic of China, we have all basic and important bilateral agreements, which enables both sides to have a more active trade or any other activities in the field of business in any sector, which means that the doors are wide open, and especially in Georgia, because let's say so that we only have not less than 5,000 registered Chinese companies active in Georgian market. Direct investments from China to Georgia last year equal to $100 million. And the turnover of the trade of last year equals to $2 billion. Well, this is not the limit. Definitely it will be increasing, taking into the consideration our new pledge to increase the cooperation in every direction. Of course, taking into the account that a free trade agreement between China and Georgia, which was signed in 2017, is gearing up, and means that more and more products will be custom fee free entering to China and vice versa.
Now, regarding South-South cooperation, what business sectors do you expect to have great growth potential in the future, Dr. Miao?
China, through multilateral financial institutions like the AIIB, provides financial support for infrastructure projects in developing countries, including in the ASEAN. Through those efforts, China shows great potential and opportunities for cooperation in the field of infrastructure within South-South cooperation. Secondly, we know China is a global leader in green energy technologies such as the EV cars and solar panels can help promote the adoption and the application of the renewable energy technologies in developing countries. The field of artificial intelligence is also expected to grow significantly in the future. At the 78th United Nations General Assembly, China's proposal for strengthening international cooperation on AI capacity building was adopted by consensus. China is willing to work with all countries, especially developing nations, to strengthen alignment in AI strategies and policies, sharing practice in AI testing, evaluation, certification, and regulation, and jointly addressing the safety and risks in AI.
And Tony, what's your vision for the future of relationship between China and Uzbekistan?
Now, as we look to the future, the next 5 to 10 years, likely to see deepening of the trade relationship between these two nations. And now, what role do you think innovation and technology will play in shaping this partnership? And what is your vision for the future of China-Uzbekistan trade?
Well, I see huge prospects for the relationship between China and Uzbekistan, especially given the Chinese expertise in technology and innovation. I would say Chinese expertise in high-tech industries such as 5G and AI is undeniable. So using this expertise and through technology transfer of these technologies and as well as the green technologies or smart agricultural practices from China, Uzbekistan can develop its agricultural sector and develop industry as well.
That's true. Uzbekistan's tech industry, it's still quite new, but it's growing very quickly. And Oleg, do you have any last words that you'd like to say regarding this topic?
Well, I think we're looking at the prolonged long-term partnership that is pursuing strategic goals on both sides. And I think they both want the populations to live healthier and longer lives. They all want greener economies and greener energy and better connectivity and greater people-to-people connections. And I think this is what is going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing this development.
And thank you, Tony, for that insightful discussion on the future of China-Uzbekistan relationship. Now, for the future vision of China-Georgia relations, Mr. Ambassador, I would like to have your thoughts.
Most important thing for me is to bring the Georgian and Chinese people closer to each other through the various channels of cooperation, especially if we consider that both nations are the nations of the ancient history and they are part of the ancient civilization. I think the visa-free agreement is a revolutionary agreement, giving an opportunity to people to go and themselves check the realities of both countries.
I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Tony from Daryo and her distinguished guests for sharing such insightful perspectives with us today. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity for us to join you on this segment. We look forward to seeing how the partnerships between these countries further develop, and as well as our partnership with CGTN.
And that's all for this special edition of BizTalk. I'm Zheng Feng. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.